You are in the United States, and you are a truck driver. 16 hours behind the wheel, eyes burning, head heavy, every blink threatening to turn into sleep. Behind you, 20 tons of steel and cargo roar down the highway at 70 miles per hour. From the outside, it looks like freedom, the open road stretching into the horizon. Music on the radio, a job that pays you to travel. Inside the cab, it feels like a cage. You cannot stop when you want, you cannot eat when you need, and you cannot sleep when your body begs you to. The company does not pay you for time, it pays you for distance, and every minute off the road is money lost. So you keep driving, even when your hands are shaking and your chest feels tight. Your stomach is a knot of gas station food and stale coffee. Your back aches from the endless vibration of the seat, and the cabin air smells of sweat and diesel. You dream of a shower, but the only options are filthy stalls at rest areas where you wait in line, coin in hand, to buy 10 minutes of lukewarm water. At night, when you finally pull over, the cab is your bed. A mattress as thin as cardboard, wedged against the walls, surrounded by the constant noise of engines idling. Sleep comes late and ends early, broken by alarms, headlights, and the knowledge that you are behind schedule. Friends and family see you as someone who chose a life of adventure, someone always on the move, free of routine. What they never see are the birthdays missed, the weeks spent without speaking to anyone who knows your name, the silence of long highways where no voice answers back. The road is not freedom, it is exile. Every mile adds weight to your body. Every delivery takes a slice of your years. The pain is not sudden. It builds slowly, a grind that never lets go. You feel it in your bones, in the stiffness of your joints, in the fog that settles on your mind when you try to focus. And yet, you keep going, because stopping means losing everything. Because someone at an office desk decided that cargo must arrive, no matter the cost to the person hauling it. The company sees you as a number, a wheel turning in a machine, easy to replace if it breaks. Your body is disposable, your time worthless, your exhaustion ignored. You are not a driver to them. You are freight with a heartbeat. The highway stretches forward in an endless line, and you follow it because you have no choice. You are not living. You are being drained, one shipment at a time. The illusion of freedom died miles ago. What you face now is a sentence, a punishment disguised as work, a prison cell rolling down the interstate. And the worst part is not the hunger, not the loneliness, not the filth. The worst part is inside you waiting, building. The most dangerous enemy is your own body, and soon it will turn against you. Your body is paying the price long before you realize it. Hours of vibration press your spine into the seat until every disc feels like it is grinding into dust. The steering wheel locks your arms in place, shoulders pulled forward, nerves pinched, muscles knotted. Day after day, the pain becomes normal, and you stop noticing how stiff you are until you try to stand and your legs tremble under your own weight. Truck driving does not build strength. It erodes it, leaving you weaker with every mile. Food is no relief. The road decides what you eat, and what it offers is poison disguised as convenience. Greasy burgers, fried chicken under heat lamps, candy bars, energy drinks. A diet of salt, sugar, and caffeine that keeps you awake for a few more hours while slowly breaking down your heart. Arteries clog, blood pressure rises, and weight piles on because there is no time to stop for a real meal or a chance to exercise. Doctors warn about heart disease and diabetes, but for drivers, those warnings are promises waiting to be fulfilled. Sleep is another battle you never win. The human body is not designed to live in fragments of rest stolen at truck stops. The mattress in the cab is narrow and thin, surrounded by the constant rattle of passing traffic and the hiss of engines running through the night. You drift into shallow sleep, waking at every horn, every light, every vibration of the truck around you. One night of bad sleep makes anyone tired. Thousands of nights like that carve years off your life. A truck driver ages a decade in half the time because exhaustion becomes permanent, written into every cell. The cab is not a home. It is a cage on wheels. You eat in the same seat where you drive. You sleep inches from the wheel that nearly kills you each day. You change clothes hunched over in a space smaller than a closet. The air grows stale, and you breathe the same recycled fumes day and night. Even when you park, the truck holds you captive. It is always there, humming, looming, demanding you climb back inside and keep moving. Stopping is never simple. Every minute not driving is money lost, deliveries delayed, managers calling, paychecks shrinking. If you rest, you fall behind. If you push forward, you sacrifice your health. There's no balance, only pressure to keep the wheels spinning. You may feel the tightness in your chest, the numbness in your fingers, the ache that never leaves your back, but none of that matters to the schedule. Your body is screaming for relief, every muscle and organ begging you to stop, but the truck does not care. The road does not care. The company does not care. The freight must move, and you must move with it until the day your body finally breaks. Exhaustion becomes the shadow that rides with you, a passenger that never leaves. At first, you think you can fight it with another cup of coffee, another can of energy drink, another pill picked up at the counter of a truck stop. The caffeine burns your stomach, your hands tremble on the wheel, your pulse races like you are running a marathon while sitting still, but your eyelids remain heavy. Some drivers take stronger stimulants sold cheap in plastic bags, a quick fix that keeps them wired while slowly destroying their bodies. The schedule does not care about addiction, and the company does not ask how you manage to stay awake as long as the cargo arrives on time. Your body is not built to function this way. The human brain collapses when it is forced to stay alert through endless days and nights. But behind the wheel of a 20-ton rig, there is no mercy. Highway hypnosis creeps in without warning. The white dashed lines blur into a rhythm that lulls your mind into unconsciousness while your hands keep the wheel straight. For a moment, you believe you are awake, but your brain has already checked out. Microsleep seizes you in bursts of 3 or 4 seconds, and at 70 miles per hour, that is enough to send your truck the length of a football field without a driver. You roll down the window to let cold air slap your face. It works for 1 mile. You turn up the radio until the speakers crackle, singing to yourself at the top of your lungs. It works for 1 mile. You smack your cheeks, bite your tongue, pinch your legs until they bleed. None of it matters. The exhaustion returns, heavier than before, dragging you toward the edge. The rumble strip on the side of the highway shakes you awake, the vibration buzzing through the frame of the cab. And your heart jumps because you know you nearly drifted into the ditch. That fear keeps you alert for a few minutes, but soon the weight of your own body pulls you back down. Inside the cab, you are not alone. Fatigue sits beside you, whispering that it would be easier to close your eyes for just a second. The steering wheel grows warm in your hands, the air turns thick, and your vision narrows into a tunnel. A single mistake will crush the sedan driving in the next lane, tear apart the family sleeping in the backseat, leave blood and wreckage scattered across asphalt. The terrifying truth is that you may not even know when it happens. 1 second you are awake, the next you are gone, eyes open but brain asleep, a 20-ton weapon with no one in control. You can feel the betrayal of your own body. The enemy is not the truck, not the road, not even the endless schedules forced on you. The enemy is the collapse of your own nervous system, the body that refuses to obey when pushed too far. It shuts down without your permission. It takes your mind away even while your heart keeps beating. And when it does, there is no second chance. Sleep is not rest for you. Sleep is the assassin that waits inside your skull, and one night it could finally take over. The cab is silent, and that silence becomes heavier than the weight of the cargo you haul. Days blur into nights, weeks vanish, and the only voice you hear is your own breathing echoing in the small cabin. Families gather for dinners you never attend, children grow while you are miles away, and relationships collapse because no one can stay close to someone who is never home. You speak to clerks at gas stations, to waitresses in roadside diners, to other drivers passing through, but none of them know you. They are fragments of interaction, faces that vanish as quickly as they appear, leaving you stranded in an endless cycle of isolation. Loneliness crawls deeper than hunger or fatigue. It gnaws at your mind until you feel hollow. Some drivers try to fight it with constant music or endless phone calls, but static-filled signals drop in the middle of nowhere and voices fade with distance. Others drown it in alcohol bought from convenience stores, drinking alone in the cab until the world blurs enough to pretend they are not completely abandoned. Depression is not a rare shadow in this line of work. It is everywhere, sitting in the driver's seat, hanging in the air like diesel fumes, a constant reminder that you are on your own. And while solitude is crushing, the dangers outside the cab are just as merciless. In truck stops across the United States, you park not knowing if you will wake to find your cargo gone or your window smashed. These proud parking lots looking for rigs full of electronics, pharmaceuticals, or anything that can be stripped and sold. Sometimes they take the truck. Sometimes they take more. Stories of hijackings spread among drivers, whispered over coffee, each tale about someone dragged from their cab at night point, forced to lie face down on gravel while armed men stripped the trailer clean. Even when violence does not find you, the fear of it lingers in every rest stop. You sleep with one ear open, heart racing at every knock, every crunch of boots outside. The cab is supposed to be a shelter, but it feels like a trap. Locked doors can be pried open, curtains can be ripped back, and you know that no one will hear you over the endless drone of engines. The road is not neutral ground. It is a hunting ground, and drivers are the prey. You keep moving because stopping feels dangerous, but moving is no safer. Each mile stretches the distance between you and the people you love. Each stop carries the risk of violence. Each night alone erodes your sense of self. Loneliness and fear become companions you never invited but cannot escape. And while you hope to make it back home, the truth lingers at the back of your mind. Out here, there is no guarantee you will ever arrive. The dangers of the job are not abstract warnings. They are written in blood across American highways. In June of 2014, New Jersey witnessed one of the most infamous crashes involving a fatigued truck driver. Kevin Roper, behind the wheel of a Walmart truck, had been awake for more than 24 hours. On the New Jersey Turnpike, he failed to react in time and slammed into the back of a Mercedes van carrying comedian Tracy Morgan and his friends. The impact killed James McNair, a fellow comedian known as Jimmy Mack, and left Tracy Morgan in a coma with life-threatening injuries. Investigators concluded that Roper's exhaustion played the central role. It was not bad luck. It was the predictable result of pushing a human body beyond its limits. 5 years earlier, in June of 2009, Oklahoma saw one of the deadliest trucking accidents in its history. 76-year-old Donald Creed was driving his semi along Interstate 44 when fatigue overtook him. He drifted without breaking into a line of stopped cars. The crash killed 10 people instantly and injured several more. Witnesses described the scene as chaos, twisted metal and fire spreading across the highway. Creed later admitted that he had been working long, illegal hours, far beyond what his body could handle. His victims were not strangers to the risks of the road. They were ordinary drivers heading home, caught in the path of a man too exhausted to stay conscious. Then in April of 2019, Colorado became the stage of another tragedy that shook the nation. Rogel Agulero Medeiros, only 23 years old, was hauling lumber down Interstate 70 when his brakes failed after hours of driving. His truck careened downhill at terrifying speed before crashing into a traffic jam near Lakewood. The impact triggered a massive fire and chain reaction that killed 4 people and destroyed more than 24 vehicles. Agulero Medeiros insisted he had tried to save lives, but the truth was clear. He should never have been in that position. The combination of mechanical failure, inexperience, and the unrelenting demands placed on drivers turned his rig into a weapon of destruction. The case gained national attention when a judge sentenced him to 110 years in prison, a punishment later reduced after public outcry. But the story underscored a brutal reality. The system pushes drivers until disaster becomes inevitable. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a pattern, the visible eruptions of an industry built on exhaustion, pressure, and the impossible expectation that human beings can perform like machines. Every year in the United States, thousands of families are torn apart by collisions involving trucks whose drivers were pushed past the breaking point. Each headline is a reminder that what happened in New Jersey, Oklahoma, and Colorado can and will happen again. Because as long as companies demand endless hours and drivers obey to keep their jobs, the outcome is guaranteed. The road will keep claiming lives, and the cost will always be paid in human blood. Years pass, and the damage does not wait for retirement. The body breaks down long before you can step away from the wheel. Knees swollen from hours locked in the same position. Back twisted from years of vibration. Hands stiff with arthritis from gripping the steering wheel in every season and storm. The diet of gas station food leaves its scars in clogged arteries and weak hearts, and the exhaustion that was once a constant nuisance becomes permanent. Sleep no longer restores you because fatigue is written into your bones. Many truck drivers reach their 50s already looking like men in their 70s, aged by decades of punishment delivered 1 mile at a time. The promise of money and stability that once drew you to the road never materializes. Companies cut corners, wages shrink, and the hours never stop. You sacrifice birthdays, holidays, and years of family life, only to discover there is no cushion waiting when your body gives out. Savings are thin, debts stack up for medical bills, and retirement is not a celebration but a collapse. Instead of rest, you face poverty and pain. The career that was supposed to give you freedom has left you trapped with nothing to show but scars, both physical and invisible. The psychological wounds are just as deep. The loneliness that haunted you on every highway does not leave when you park the truck for the last time. You struggle to reconnect with the family you barely saw, with children who grew up while you were hundreds of miles away, with friends who stopped calling because you were never around. Some drivers find themselves unable to adjust to ordinary life after decades of silence on the road, haunted by the drone of engines and the endless white lines burned into their memories. For many, depression and anxiety become permanent companions, long after the last delivery. The end is not always a slow fade. Some never make it to retirement at all. Heart attacks in the cab, crashes after a micro sleep, assaults in dark parking lots, each one a reminder that the road does not forgive weakness. Those who do survive often live in constant pain, their bodies worn down to shells by decades of labor. The truck may be parked, but the damage never leaves. Every movement reminds them of the years spent pushing beyond human limits to keep freight moving for companies that quickly forget their names. There was never freedom in this life. There was only the illusion of choice, the idea that the open road meant control when it always meant captivity. Each delivery was another piece of yourself surrendered, another step toward the end. And when you look around the cab in your later years, older, weaker, more tired than you ever imagined, you realize the truth. Tomorrow will be the same as today. Another long drive, another lonely night, another mile closer to a finish line that offers no reward.